Hi, it's Sarah here. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great day today. We're going to be doing a talk on 20 tips to help you break free of the matrix. So, tip number 1. If you've gone through some major event that is some kind of trauma, something really big happened to you, like a natural disaster, it could be a death in the family, it could be some kind of abuse, something like that, you had a soul contract to go through it. That means you arranged it before you incarnated, before you came to earth, for your soul's lessons, for your soul growth, for your healing. We often bring up something that we need to heal from another lifetime. So you had prearranged this. And when you realize this, it helps you let go of the story, it helps you let go of judgment, and it helps you step out of victimhood. Number 2, let go of judgments. Okay, so it is your ego that judges, not you. You're the divine being. Your ego judges, it compares, and what happens is we create judgments about other people. We compare ourselves against other people. This makes us feel separate. We're supposed to be coming back to unity, realizing we're all one, but when we compare and judge, it's creating the feeling of being separate. When we judge an experience, we tend to judge it as good or bad, as right or wrong, and then what comes with that is all the emotions, so guilt, shame, resentment, anger, fear, etc. But if you realize that every experience is neutral, there's no judgment around it. Yes, experiences can be challenging or they can be pleasant, but they're not good and bad, they're not right and wrong. It is just an experience. You know, getting your foot run over by a car could be experience 6,923, for example. Okay, it is just an experience. So that stops the judgments, and then that stops you creating all the negative self-talk, all the resentment, the anger, the unforgiveness, and all the guilt and shame, that kind of thing. Number 3, know that you are creating and choosing all your experiences based on your belief system. So we create everything we experience, and we choose everything we experience. The big things are said, you chose and created before you incarnated, but everything else you are creating and choosing as you are going along. But we only create and choose 5% consciously. 95% you are subconsciously creating and choosing, and everything is being filtered through the lens of your belief system. Okay, so if, for example, you had a belief that you were bad, say you had a hard childhood and your parents were always putting you down, so you ended up with a belief that you were bad, you're going to create and choose a life from I am bad. So you're not going to create nice things for yourself, are you? Okay, so just realize that everything that you're going through, you are creating and choosing. And this also helps you step out of victimhood. You know, if somebody does something to you, the normal reaction is to blame them. But actually you created and chose it. And then you brought them into your reality to do that thing to you. So what we are experiencing, everything we see, everything we perceive, that is see, hear, taste, touch, and everything, it is filtered through the lens of our belief system. It is a holographic reality. Everything you're seeing isn't actually real. Everything you are seeing and hearing is actually being based on your belief system, okay? It is your belief system that is so vitally important. Okay, number 4, make a mantra of everything happens for a reason. So instead of putting yourself in victimhood and blaming somebody, everything happens for a reason, and you can just keep repeating that over and over again. It helps you step out of victimhood. Number 5, forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness is the biggest gift you can give yourself, whether it is forgiving yourself or forgiving somebody else. We always tend to think about forgiving somebody else as letting them off the hook, but forgiving somebody else is actually freeing yourself, because if you don't forgive somebody, if you don't forgive yourself, you are keeping yourself stuck. What you'll do is energetically place your consciousness in like a box or a cage so it can't expand. When you can't expand your consciousness, that means you can't ascend. You can't expand your consciousness, that is creating suffering for yourself. So if you're not forgiving yourself, if you're not forgiving somebody else, you are creating a huge amount of suffering for yourself. And it also means that you will have to come back in another lifetime, repeat a similar kind of process until you learn how to forgive. So forgiveness is so important. Number 6 is be an observer of your thoughts, your self-talk, the way you sabotage yourself. Be aware of any judgments and comparing you are doing. Be aware of your habits. So for a couple of weeks, walk around with a notebook in your pocket. I mean, this tool is brilliant for the rest of your life, actually. It is a huge tool and a huge gift to yourself, because when you work out what thoughts trigger what emotions, then you can work out what your beliefs are. And when we have a thought and a feeling, it creates it's called a neural pathway in your brain. And that means that every time you have a similar kind of thought, it usually triggers a similar kind of emotion, because your brain likes to conserve energy. So you'll automatically use the same neural pathway. So it actually takes effort to stop that pathway and to have a different emotion. But we're not aware of what programs and patterns we're running. We're not aware of our own sabotaging ways. We're not aware of our own thought patterns until we actually stop and take stock and listen to ourselves. Because we tend to be so busy, we tend to just go on autopilot and let these things just run on and on. So actually being an observer is a huge gift to yourself, and it is something that is really good to take with you for the rest of your life. It is really hard to heal something if you don't know what needs to be healed. So give yourself the gift and be an observer. Just carry a notebook around in your pocket for a few weeks and see what triggers what. See what kind of programs that you are running. See what your kind of thoughts you are thinking, that kind of thing. Number 7 is know that only love and joy are real. So all these other emotions that we feel, anger, resentment, fear, bitterness, hatred, guilt, shame, grief, etc., etc., they're not actually real. They're actually being created by your ego. They are a construct of your ego mind. Okay? The divine being that you are knows only love and joy. Everything else that you are experiencing, your ego is making up. And as I said at the beginning, you are not your ego. All right? Your ego is making it up, and it is making it up as a form of self-defense. The ego is a rule unto itself. The ego likes to think it is God. The ego likes to put itself in charge, but it also there's a part of the ego called the id, which is actually trying to keep you safe. So often it brings up these kind of emotions to actually keep people away from you, to keep you safe. Or to make you small, like guilt and shame will keep you small and keep you stuck so you don't step out of your comfort zone. It thinks it's keeping you safe again. Okay, so you have to know that these kind of emotions, they're not real. When we feel them though, we think they're real, and then they get locked into the cells in our body. So then we have to release that stuck emotional energy. But it's much easier to let it go when you know it's not real. Okay, number 8, sorry. Know that the spirit world, God, the ascended masters, the angelic realm, don't need martyrs. They don't need people to do rescuing either, to rescue other people. I don't mean as in somebody's dying at sea, don't go and rescue them. What I mean is, as empaths, people often take on other people's stuff. They have this, it's called rescuer syndrome, where you think other people need rescuing, so you'll take on other people's stuff. Martyrdom is when you're consciously or unconsciously choosing to suffer. Okay, and then also martyrdom, you'll end up taking on other people's stuff. What this means is, when you take on other people's stuff, A, you don't ever get to heal yourself because you're too busy healing and rescuing everybody else. And B is that everybody, we tend to see people as a child, as an elderly person, as a disabled person, that kind of thing. But everybody, that's just the body. Everybody is a divine being. inside the body. You may see a child of 2 and think, oh, little child, but actually that might be the most advanced soul on the planet. And they are there working through their stuff. If you go and take their stuff from them, how are they going to learn and grow? It is really hard as an empath to watch somebody suffering. So all you have to do, instead of watching them suffering and then decide to take on their stuff, send them as much love as you can. And then you're just giving them support. You're giving them your love and support. But by taking on this stuff, you are taking away their chance that they have to learn and grow and to heal. Okay? And spirit do not need martyrs. You know, in days ago, people used to be martyrs as a way they thought that it would help them ascend and go to heaven. But that's actually not the case. Martyrdom is not a good thing. Okay, so number 9. Unless your life is in immediate danger, fear is not real. As I said before, these emotions aren't real. If your life is in immediate danger, you know, you're in a burning building, then obviously you do need fear to make you get out of the building. But unless your life is in immediate danger, fear isn't real. So when you feel any of these emotions, and actually all these other emotions are actually fear-based. They all have their roots in fear. So every time you feel something else, it actually has its roots in fear. So when you feel another emotion, catch it right at the very beginning. If you start to let it take hold, then it's really hard to stop it. But if you can catch it right at the very beginning and go, actually, okay, I am starting to feel anger here, I'm starting to feel resentment here, I'm starting to feel guilt here, etc., etc. Take a step back, observe it, note what triggered it so you can try and work out your belief system. And then all you can do is simply say, this feeling of anger, I feel it, I honor it, and I let it go with love. It's not me and it's not mine. Angels, please take it away. Okay. And when you do something like that, A, you're stopping it build up in your body, and B, you're changing that neural pathway. So the idea is that you want to end up responding with love and joy to everything, unless your life is in danger, and obviously that's not the best solution. We want to end up being loving and joy, and then because that's what we are going to attract back into our lives. We're going to pull more of that back into our lives. So there are other ways you can clear the stuck emotional energy from your body. You can use things like EFT tapping, you can use essential oils, you can use solfeggio frequencies, you can ask spirit to help you release it. A good way to do it is when you go to bed at night. You can ask spirit to help you release the stuck emotional energy from your body. You can use tapping like this on your body. I have another technique that was given to me by God, and that is just a saying, and it's, dear God, regarding this feeling of, let's use anger, regarding this feeling of anger, there is nothing that exists in the now apart from true love. Therefore all other feelings are an illusion. They come from another time, place, space, dimension, or universe, and I send them back with love. You take a deep breath in, and then you see those emotions going out on a pink ribbon of light. And that is something you maybe want to do 4 or 5 times a day. You don't want to do it any more than that, because you actually have to process what you release using that technique. Okay, so number 10. You can choose what you want to experience consciously. So I said before, we're only choosing about 5%, but you can choose everything that you want to experience. You just have to keep saying it in your head or out loud. Write it down as well so you keep reading it. I choose love, I choose joy, I choose ease, I choose abundance, I choose full health, I choose a fulfilling career, I choose a loving relationship, I choose to end the struggle and have ease, I choose inner peace. Whatever you want to choose, you can just keep choosing it, and you have to keep saying it over and over again. And what will happen is anything that is a block to that will then come up for you to clear. Number 12 is learn to create. So we can choose what we want to experience. We can create what we want to have in our life. And you are here to become a co-creator with Source, with God. So basically creating is visualizing what you want to have, whether it be something material, like you might need a new car, so you can visualize that. It might be the career, it might be being able to have a peaceful relationship, whatever it is you want to create. And then you have to every day visualize this, but when you are visualizing it, you need to be able to hold the feeling of joy and excitement and gratitude for it already being here at the same time you're visualizing it. And you need to try and hold that for at least a minute. Okay, so try and feel joy, excitement, and gratitude. Maybe you feel relief as well. There might be a huge amount of relief. And then you also need to take action steps to get that into your reality. So you can ask Spirit for guidance and then look out for signs that they give you. It might be something like if it was a car, you maybe want to go and look around car showrooms. That's an action step. It may be you are guided to go and do, I don't know, a specific job or something like that, or to maybe look at car colors, something like that. It's just something, the action steps that you're taking to bring that into your reality. But ask Spirit to guide you and then look out for signs and synchronicities. Okay, number 12. When you want to change a belief, there are lots of ways you can change a belief. If you know which beliefs you need to change, you can write them down, read them over again, say them over again, sing them over again, repeat them over again. You can record them on a phone and put them on low volume overnight. Another way you can do it is imagine that you're bigger than your mind and you're looking down on your mind, and you can say, mind, in the name of God, release the belief that blah blah blah, I'm God and that is a command. And you have to say it in a loving voice. If you mind do this, then your mind's not going to feel safe, and so it won't. So you have to be able to do it with love and conviction. Okay, you will release more when you know your divinity. You will release more when you can come at your mind with love. Number 13, inner child. Okay, your inner child is your part of you. It's your wounds, your wounded parts, the part of you that wounded, part of you that feel vulnerable, the parts of you that feel scared. My opinion is that your inner child is your body and your ego combined, because the divine part of you doesn't get wounded. The divine part of you is just energy, it's just consciousness, so it doesn't carry the wounds. It is your body that carries the wounds. So if you know of a time that you were hurt, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you can imagine yourself that age. If not, imagine yourself age around 7. And you're just going to sit that part in front of you, and you're just going to tell them, look, you are lovable, you are worthy, you are deserving, you are enough, you are safe. And really, safety, worthy, and deserving are the main 3. Tell them you love them. Tell them that guilt and shame and grief and fear and resentment, etc., aren't real. And then finish off by saying, I actually believe you're happy. I actually really believe you feel happy and you feel safe. Because the way we feel is actually a belief. You know, if you feel down and you can tell yourself over and over again, I actually believe I feel joyful, in the end you'll end up feeling joyful. So if you tell your inner child, look, I actually believe you feel happy and safe, then that is how they get, then you can imagine them smiling and feeling happy and safe. Doing your inner child work will have a huge effect on you. It is one of the most important ways you can heal. Okay, so number 14 is breathing in. So another way to clear this stuck emotional energy is to breathe in love and golden light. Breathe in love and golden light and send it all over your body. Send it to your mind, send it to your head, send it to all parts of your body, especially to your physical heart and your heart center. Then what you can do, you can use our emotions to transmute emotions in your body. So if you know you're carrying a lot of fear, breathe in love and joy and send it to all parts of your body. If you know you're carrying a lot of unforgiveness, guilt or shame, breathe in golden light, love and forgiveness. if you know you're carrying a lot of anxiety or grief, breathe in love and peace. And if you know you are holding a lot of anger, resentment, bitterness, frustration, breathe in love and gratitude, and that will help transmute that. Send those to all parts of your body. Number 15. So we have our physical heart, we have our heart center, our heart chakra, we also have our higher heart here. And we tend to, when we get wounded, when we get hurt, we tend to put up barriers around our hearts. And that is our unconscious attempt to stop us being hurt again. So these barriers are energy. They are barriers of resentment, barriers of fear, barriers of unworthiness, etc., etc. And so it is really important to be able to give and receive love. That is what we are here for. So you need to clear your heart center and your higher heart and your physical heart. One way you can do that, let's take your heart center, and you can do this for all three of them, is imagine stepping into a lift or whirlpool in your mind. You take that lift or whirlpool down into the center of your chest. Then you just breathe in love and golden light into that area. Then you imagine kind of like doors opening, and you're going to send that love and golden light outwards. You're going to send it forwards. And that, when you do that, it's going to open you're going to clear the barriers. And it's something you need to keep doing, okay? Just doing it once isn't enough. You need to at least try and do it once a day. Also, try and send it out the back. So the front is where we give love, the back is where we receive. So often we are better at giving than receiving. So we need to clear the back as well. So you need to just try and imagine doing exactly the same thing out your back. Do the same to your higher heart and do the same to your physical heart. Number 16. I need to write bigger letters. Okay, so we have our mind. Now, our mind is infinite. Our mind is what we are. We are consciousness. We are our mind. And our mind is God's mind. So our mind is infinite. So we tend to put these blocks on our mind. This is our ascension. So, if we have guilt or shame, we're going to kind of... So we kind of imprison our mind in our body. And what we need to do when we have... we need to transcend limiting beliefs. We need to transcend vows, oaths. We need to transcend our inner child's fears, etc., etc. So one of the ways you can do this, is, as we spoke before, is kind of being that observer and stopping that program, changing that program. But another way you can do it is actually push your awareness up. So push your awareness to the back of your head, push your awareness up, and basically you're pushing through. You're going to try and send your awareness up through the layers. Now, you really have to know that things like guilt and shame aren't real, because they are, as I say, you've put your energy in a guilt and shame will put your energy in a cage, and you're going to put yourself in a box. So if you're finding it really difficult, keep telling yourself that only love is real. And it might take a while, it might take months and months and months, but eventually you are going to end up being able to push your awareness up. And when you push your awareness up, and imagine your awareness expanding, kind of imagine everything expanding up here. Then you can push your awareness. You can imagine a big column of light going up to the sky, up to source. You can push your awareness right up there. You can also imagine that same channel and going right down into the center of the earth. Push your awareness right down there as well. Then what you can do is imagine a nice clear channel. You've got a nice clear channel, and then you can breathe in energy from the earth and send it up to source. Breathe out, and as you breathe out, you're going to pull energy down from source and send it to the earth. So you've kind of got this up and down thing going up your ascension column. Number 18 is break free of cultural, societal religious and family conditioning. Okay, we are here to bring in the golden age, and the golden age requires a lot of change. We have to stop doing things the way we have always done them. We are going to be doing things differently. So if we just carry on the same thing because that's how it's always been done, we're not going to bring in the changes we need. So it's time to break free, because the golden age needs way showers, it needs change makers, it doesn't need sheep. Okay, we have to stop being sheep. Number 19 is know that karma as a punishment and reward system isn't real. Okay, we have what's called the universal law of cause and effect, which means what you give out comes back to you. That is not karma. People often think as karma is a punishment from God and a reward system from God. That is not true. God does not punish. God is just unconditional love. Okay, there is no karma. The karmic energy is actually unforgiveness that we are holding towards ourselves. We can actually also take on ancestral karmic patterns to clear. That means you're taking on your ancestors' unforgiveness, you've agreed to do it, and so you're clearing it for your ancestral line. So there's ancestral karmic patterns, there's family clearing. You can also clear for the land. You know, you might have your country's karma that you're clearing, things like that. But karma is just your own unforgiveness. And please know that unforgiveness isn't real. Only forgiveness is real. So when you know that, you can actually ask Source to keep releasing as much karmic. Ask every day for the release of as much karmic energy as possible. Okay, because Spirit are trying to get us to forgive ourselves. So holding on to all this karmic energy of unforgiveness is really holding you back. And it's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary burden. You have to learn the lesson of it. Learn that unforgiveness is not real. Learn to forgive, and then Spirit will help you release the energy. Okay, so whenever you want Spirit's help, you have to ask for it. And secondly, you have to have learnt the lesson, because if they take it away from you and you haven't learnt it, then that's not served you at all, has it? But once you've learned the lesson, they don't want you to be burdened down with bags and bags full of resentment or fear or whatever it is. So once you've learned the lessons, then they're very willing to come in and help you clear it. Okay, lastly, know that, oh sorry, I just forgot to mention that one, no, there's no sins either. Okay, sins, the original meaning of sin with Yeshua taught meant a lack of love. Okay, it didn't mean you've done something wrong. People think they've sinned and then it's a belief and then it's a huge punishment thing. No, there's no such thing as a sin. Okay, I've had the angels tell me, I've had God tell me, I've had Jesus tell me. There's no such thing as sins. Okay, lastly, know that you are connected to all life. So that means everybody else. It means all the animals. It means the plant kingdom. It means the mineral kingdom. It means the actual planet itself. It means to Source. We are all connected. How you treat another person or an animal or a plant is ultimately how you are treating yourself. All life is sacred, so try and have respect for all life. Know your divinity and know you are divine, and know you are sacred. You are holy. Okay, everything is holy and everything is sacred and everything is divine. Practicing the divine in a tree, in an animal, in a person, and then see if you can feel that same divinity in you. Often we tend to feel it, it's easier to not feel it, it's easier to see it or imagine it in somebody else than it is to see it and imagine it or feel it in ourselves. But we are all the same, okay? So we are all divine, we are all sacred, we are all holy. So treat everything on the planet and the planet with as much respect as you can. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Much love and many blessings from my heart to yours.